So I feel like my first video about the REI and National Geographic using the Havasupai Indian Tribe pack horses for their tourists was just a wee bit unprofessional. And yeah, it was. I cuss a lot. When I get mad or I get really emotional about something, sometimes I just have to blurt it out that way. It's just who I am, and you know, maybe it's a fault, but I felt that was the only way that at that time I could, you know, get the words out. So everything that I said in that video is completely true. These horses are used by REI and National Geographic and Pygmy Adventures and Outfitters, Arizona Outback Adventures, and Wildland Tracking. And these horses are horrifically abused. They are punched. They are kicked. They do have horrific saddle sores that are beyond, you know, just rubbing their hair off of their top of their back. These saddle sores and pack sores go completely down to their muscle tissue. Past they've rubbed off the hair. They rubbed off the skin. They are now rubbing onto raw muscle. So imagine how that would feel on you if you had to endure that every day with 300 pounds on your back under a wool pad that's rubbing on your back in 110-degree heat with no water and no food. And that is what these horses endure every day. From and REI and National Geographic and Pygmy Adventures and Arizona Outback Outfitters and Wildland Tracking are the ones that are profiting from this, and they just continue on with it with complete denial, and they have no intention of changing, just like Cynthia Dunbar at REI told me specifically on the phone that REI has no intention of changing their practices as far as these pack horses go and the expeditions that they book for their tourists. So, you know, I think that the power of money is very important to these people, otherwise they wouldn't be harming these horses this way. So if you happen to have any kind of membership or a credit card, or you plan on purchasing anything from REI, myself, I would personally throw everything in regards to those plans or those purchases in the garbage, and I would never touch their product again. And I would also share any information about the Havasupai and REI using these horses. I do the same thing with National Geographic. I would suspend my subscriptions with them. I would never donate to them again. I would write a letter making sure that that they knew that I would never intend to donate anything to them again. And I would also share that with my friends and family that National Geographic and REI completely do not adhere to their mission statement to protect animals around the world. All you have to do is look at the Havasupai horses to know that for sure. The Indians, they are under a separate jurisdiction. I think that the states can't touch them because of state law, and no one in enforcement wants to touch this because it is such a culturally sensitive, politically correct issue as far as these Indian tribes go. But they get millions and millions of dollars, millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars from these casinos and the profits from these pack horses. Yet these horses are eating cardboard and they have zero water. Foundation has not asked me or to do this video. I'm not affiliated with them. This is something that I've just specifically done on my own personal thought, wanting to stop this horrific abuse happening to these horses. So I'll leave the links to the Save Foundation's Facebook page, where there's some pictures and stories there of the graphic, horrific abuse of these horses. They're punched, they're kicked. These saddle sores are beyond just little tiny sores. They are horrific, long-term abuse of lacerations and blood and skin peeling off from the equipment. So think how that would feel for you. Plus they're used every day like this, every day. They have to track 20 miles per day in 110 degree heat with 0 water at any time, from morning till sunset, and sometimes 4 days with 0 water. They have 0 food. There's skin and bones, they're skeletons. The horses that basically are they're sent to a slaughter pen when for some reason they're, I guess, on their deathbed when they can still walk. They're sent to a slaughter pen for horse slaughter, which I can't imagine because there's no meat on their bones. The only thing they'd have to use is their bones and I guess blood for something. There's just nothing left of these horses. And then the horses that can't even make it to the slaughter pen are just pushed over a cliff to die. It's just disgusting. I know these Indians have issues. There's a lot of alcoholism, but you know, you can get someone out there. You can, with the money that's made from these casinos in Arizona and the money that's made from these outfitters who contract with them, you can afford to throw hay and put water out there for them at least, and get some proper fitting pack equipment. Why can other outfitters take care of their horses in a correct manner, but this Indian tribe is you know, physically and mentally and compassionately and morality unable to provide for these horses in a correct manner. You know, I don't think anyone would have a problem with these horses being used as working animals as long as they're treated correctly, you know, as long as they're given food and water and shade and proper equipment and they're not punched and kicked. I don't think anyone would have a problem with them being used as pack animals. You know, other people are successful at it. Why can't they be? They accept no help from the SAFE Foundation. No one's allowed to bring in hay. No one's allowed to donate hay. And I don't think it's a matter of money. It's just a matter of goodwill. And I think that's the real, that's the most disgusting part of the issue, because, you know, people will be lining up to, people are lining up, like the SAFE Foundation, to bring hay to these animals and water. But the fact that the Indian tribe actually refuses any kind of help, and they're not willing to spend their own money to provide hay for these horses, it's just disgusting. So REI and National Geographic and Pygmy Outfitters and Arizona Outback Adventures and Wildland Tracking are just as culpable and just as guilty as this Indian tribe is. All of them together are in the same guilty bucket, as far as I'm concerned. When I spoke to National Geographic, they actually told me that they will be suspending their operations after 2016. However, being that this is the middle of 2016, they still have 6 more months of contracting with these horses. So I guess it's okay for National Geographic to horrifically abuse these horses, right along with REI and Pygmy and Arizona Outback Adventures and Wildland Tracking. So, you know, this whole group of people that have significant resources. I mean, between all these companies, they get hundreds of millions of dollars. I mean, you know, these are big companies. They have a huge amount of money. All of them do. The tribes do. The corporations do. Yet none of them are willing to lift a finger to help these horses. In fact, you know, almost the way that I got it was just kind of like a joke. Like, well, we know this joke exists, but we're not willing to acknowledge that we laugh at it. That was kind of like what I came away with from talking to all these people who I finally, you know, demanded that they talk to me on the phone. It took me several phone calls and several emails, and I worked for probably 2 or 3 weeks just to talk to 3 or 4 people at these corporations to finally get some type of statement from them. And the statements were almost denial. In fact, some of them were denial. So anyway, you know, if you are planning on shopping REI, don't. If you are planning on subscribing to National Geographic, don't. If you're planning to take a tourist adventure to the Havasu, Lake Havasu, Arizona, Mojave County, you know, there's helicopters that you can use. That's really sad too. But that's the sad part of this too, because you don't have to use the horses and the mules to pack in and pack out. There are helicopters that you can use. So on traveling to Lake Havasu, Arizona to see these beautiful waterfalls, demand that your luggage is not carried by a mule or pack horse. Demand that your luggage goes by helicopter for every single supply you use, or you will not be using that company. I know Center Focus, they are dedicated to using helicopters only, so that might be the company to go with until this gets resolved. But it's very cold-hearted. These corporations are very, very cold-hearted towards these horses. Like I said, I picked up on it. That was almost like a joke. It was kind of like an inside joke. Well, it's not a joke. These horses are sad. They're depressed. I think they feel they'd almost be better off be dead because of the horrific circumstances. But I fear that death for these horses was even, going to be such a tragedy, because after the lifetime they've spent at this Indian tribe's stables, what's the point of continuing to live day after day after day with this horrific abuse? It's just disgusting. So if you can do something about it, call REI, cancel your subscription, share this. And the important thing, I think the real power of letting these corporations know what we feel about them, or what I feel about them, and you do too probably if you're watching this, is that it's going to take the power of masses of people to get this point across, that we are not going to be on board with these corporations and the treatment of these animals. So if REI and National Geographic want to stand by their mission statement, I think that's I think they should start doing it today and not tomorrow. I think they should start using helicopters, or just suspending their tourist operations to Lake Havasu, Arizona altogether. Put their mouth where their money is. So share this video. Or make your own video about it. Look into it. I encourage you to track down these people at REI. The person I spoke to, her name was Cynthia Dunbar. The person at National Geographic is Lynn.cutter. She is the head of the travel expeditions at National Geographic. Ed is one of the owners of Arizona Outback Adventures. I personally did not speak to Pygmy or Wildland, but there's also information on the SAVE Foundation's website to contact them. Do your own research. Call these people. Let them know. Get statements from them. Get specific answers from them. And then post your own video about what you experienced talking to these people and what they plan to do and their call to action to help these horses. So the more people that get involved, the more REI and National Geographic are going to have to adhere to these morality issues in regards to these horses. And we are the only people out there that are going to take care of these horses the way that they deserve to have a life to live. So thank you for watching. Good luck, and I hope something gets done for these horses sooner the better. Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye.